Armand never thought his life would be decided for him. 16 years old and full of dreams, he always imagined choosing his own future, his own career, and especially his own partner. But life has its own storms, and his family's financial collapse hit like lightning. His father's business failed, debts piled up, and whispers spread in the village that their home would soon be taken. Armand had watched his proud father shrink under the weight of expectations, and every night the house felt heavier, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. One evening he overheard voices, urgent, tense. His father was speaking to someone on the phone, begging for more time. The response was cold. Money or consequences. That very night Armand's parents sat him down. Their faces were pale, their hands trembling slightly. His mother spoke first, her voice cracking. "Armand, we've found a way to save our home." He already felt the answer before she said it. "You're getting married." The words punched the air out of him. Married at 16? To a girl he'd never met? The shock rolled through him in waves, confusion, fear, anger. "I don't even know her," he protested, but his father lowered his gaze and whispered, "We had no choice. The girl's family was wealthy. They were willing to help if Armand agreed to the marriage." Armand felt trapped, like the world was closing in around him. He wanted to scream, run, refuse. Anything but the image of his exhausted father broke him. He couldn't watch his family lose everything. And so the next morning, dressed in ceremonial clothes that didn't feel like his, Armand walked toward a destiny he didn't choose. The wedding hall was simple. The air smelled of roses and incense, guests whispered, making assumptions about him, his family, and especially about the mysterious bride who stood behind a thin veil. He only knew her name, Miriam. He had no expectations, no hope, only resignation. When they signed the papers, Armand's hands shook, not from love or excitement, but from the terrifying realization that his life had split into two parts. Before and after. After the ceremony, Miriam lifted her veil. Armand froze. She was not what he expected, not delicate, not timid, not fragile. Instead, she looked strong, confident, someone who carried herself with dignity, despite how everyone stared at her. People whispered cruel things about her appearance behind her back, but she ignored every voice with a grace that surprised him. Armand, overwhelmed and nervous, felt awkward and unsure of what to say. But Miriam broke the silence first with a calm, steady voice. "I know you didn't choose this." "Neither did I, but maybe we can face it together." Her honesty shook him. That night, as they returned to the house now saved from debt, Armand lay awake wondering who Miriam really was. Why did she agree to this? What was her story? And why did he feel a strange pull? Mix of curiosity and guilt every time. He replayed her words in his head. He didn't know it yet, but nothing about this marriage would be what he expected. The first week of marriage felt like walking through fog. Armand tried to keep his distance, unsure how to behave around a girl he barely knew. Miriam, on the other hand, remained calm, organized, and quietly confident. She woke early, helped around the house, and treated his parents with so much respect that even the neighbors whispered that she seemed more mature than anyone her age. But Armand noticed something else. She avoided talking about her past. Whenever he asked harmless questions, she would smile politely and change the subject. One evening, Armand came home to find her, sitting alone in the courtyard under the dim yellow lantern, staring at a notebook filled with sketches, beautiful, detailed sketches. He had no idea she could draw like that. "You're really talented," he said, genuinely surprised. Miriam closed the notebook quickly, almost protectively. "It's just a hobby," she said softly. But Armand sensed there was more. That night, curiosity gnawed at him. Who was she really? Why did a wealthy family like hers agree to this deal? And why did she always look over her shoulder as if guarding a secret? Days turned into weeks, and the tension between them softened, not into romance, but into understanding. They began talking more openly. Miriam laughed at his jokes, and he found himself enjoying her company more than he expected. One afternoon, Armand caught her in the kitchen, quietly crying. It startled him because Miriam always seemed strong, unbreakable. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. She wiped her face quickly. "Just tired." But it wasn't just tiredness. Something deeper was eating her from the inside. That night, when everyone was asleep, Armand found her sitting on the rooftop, the wind brushing her hair. And finally she spoke. "My father agreed to this marriage, not because he wanted to help your family. It was to protect me." Armand's heartbeat quickened. Protect you from what? She hesitated, choosing her words carefully. Someone powerful. Someone who wanted to force me into something far worse. My father thought marrying me off quickly to a good, decent family would keep me safe. Armin felt a chill race down his spine. All this time he thought he was the only one trapped. But Miriam had been fighting her own unseen battle. I didn't want to ruin your life, she whispered. I'm sorry you were dragged into my problems. Armin shook his head slowly. Maybe we're both in this together more than we realized. For the first time, Miriam looked at him not with politeness but with relief. Two strangers forced into marriage, who suddenly understood that neither of them was the villain. The next morning, Armin defended her openly for the first time when relatives made rude comments. Miriam glanced at him quietly, and although they didn't say anything, something unspoken shifted between them. Respect, trust, a shared secret, and somewhere deep inside Armin, a feeling he didn't expect began to grow. Not love, not yet, but something far more important, the beginning of loyalty. And that none was only the start.